怎么样？我的海报做得不错吧？
哦，我也要加油了，一定要让学弟妹好好体会女鬼桥的恐怖。
祝愿你成功！
Have you ever heard of the spooky tales on campus? These stories often become more and more exaggerated as time goes on, leaving people feeling uneasy and fearful. Now, you can personally experience these horror stories. Road to Salvation is an independent horror game set in a Taiwanese campus. Players explore the campus and solve puzzles related to the timeline. The game's timeline is complex, and the players may encounter missing students, mysterious rituals, and terrifying curses. By exploring and collecting evidence, you will be able to uncover the truth behind the story. Despite being a horror game, I still want to wander through every inch of the school. The game recreates many features of Taiwanese campuses, including the furnishings, environment, and style of student dormitories, as well as familiar drinks, snacks, posters, and more. As someone who has been away from campus life for years, it brings me back fond memories and sense of nostalgia. The game's frightening visuals are well done. With visuals and sound effects, they create a tense atmosphere. There are also jump scares that last only a second, leaving players feeling uneasy and wondering whether they are just meant to scare you or if these scares are building up to a bigger moment. The Bridge Curse Road to Salvation is a first-person atmospheric horror game with stealth-based, developed and published by Taiwan-based gaming company Star Entertainment. It was released on Steam on August 25, 2022, and is adapted from the movie The Bridge Curse, which tells a campus horror story set in Donghu University. Players will navigate through the campus, experiencing eerie campus horror events. In the game, players take turns playing as 6 main characters: Xinchao Zhao, Tianming Li, Dechen Ji, Boru Meng, Wenyao Li, and Lingyan Chen. Players are completely unarmed, and the only way to survive is to observe the surroundings, hide in a concealed space, and avoid being hunted down by the ghost. Stay alive by escaping danger before being caught by the ghost. The storyline is quite fragmented, jumping between the year 2012, 2016, and 2020. The following plot introduction will be explained by year, and it is my own speculation after playing the game, as well as reference to analysis from the other players online. 1979, Xinhui Chen and Qinglong Wang were chemistry majors and a couple. Chen became pregnant with Wang's child, but he worried that her family would separate them because of their different financial backgrounds, so he suggested they elope. In a later dated June 9th, Wang told Chen to meet on the bridge at 10 p.m. tomorrow, which was actually June 10th. However, Chen got a day wrong and thought it was on June 9th. On the evening of June 9th, waiting for Wang but unable to meet him, Chen was sexually assaulted by 5 male students before leaving. Overwhelmed by despair, Chen jumped into the river and committed suicide, becoming the ghost that the players will encounter later in the game. According to the visitor log of the campus security office, on the morning of June 10th, detectives, forensic investigators, and Chen's parents arrived. June 16th, which was the 7th day after Chen's death, 4 detectives and 2 forensic investigators arrived, indicating that another crime had occurred. It is likely that Chen had turned into a vengeful spirit and killed the 5 male students who had violated her. June 18th, a Daoist master came and used talisman to subdue Chen's spirit, but without helping her to move on to another life. 2012, Xin Chaozhao and her friend Yu Qinshi were part of a group of 6 people who participate in a Himodameshi event at the bridge. Along the way, they accidentally tore off the seal that was keeping the ghost at bay, and the ghost killed all 5 of Chao's companions. In order to save herself, Chao made a deal with the ghost, promising to bring 5 more people as sacrificial offering in 4 years' time. Since then, the ghost had possessed Chao, causing her to suffer from unstable mental conditions. 2015, Dou Chenji was in love with Chao, but due to her unstable mental state caused by possession, Ji found her behavior strange and decided to break up with her. However, they did not get on the same page. Chao believed that it was one-sided statement from Ji, and she never agreed to it. Later, Ji got together with Boromon, which made Chao upset. She planned to get rid of Ji and Mon by the sacrificial ritual that happened once every 4 years, and also intended to sacrifice herself to see her deceased friend Shi. 2016. On the day of Kimodameshi event, the ghost possessed Chao and killed Mon. In fact, Chao also used the ghost. She took the opportunity to give Ji a reason to kill her so she could meet Shi. With 5 people sacrificed, Ji became the next victim of possession by the ghost. Chao was unable to see Shi, and instead, she experienced the day with other deceased individuals over and over again. Since then, Ji has been dreaming about the day of the 2016 Kimodameshi event, repeatedly experiencing the day's killings with everyone who had died. Ji has been constantly trying to figure out how to break this cycle in his dreams. 2020, and again, which is the current time. The various tools for exorcism are prepared by Ji based on his repeated experiences in the time loop. His soul travels between the world of the living and the underworld. He recruited 5 students to play with, not the present characters in the game. That's why only Ji's phone displays the year 2020, while the other's phone shows the past year. The game's timeline shifts between the years 2012, 2016, and 2020, but there is no clear indications. You have to notice it from the dates on the characters' phones. If you are not paying close attention, like me, you might miss the detail. Compared to others, Ji's attitude is more emotionally detached because he has experienced the cycle so many times already and wants everything to end as soon as possible. But the others don't know that they are trapped as souls and are stuck in the loop of the 2016 trial day. Ji cannot reveal his plan and can only cooperate with the ghost to stay alive and find a way to break the cycle. This is why he often seems to be hiding something and doesn't react strongly to the disappearances or deaths of the other characters. After all, they are just souls now and cannot be saved no matter what. The ghost actually noticed that Ji was not helping her proactively. So there was the scene in the beauty classroom where she said naughty trotter to him. In the end, Chao goes to perform the final ritual, not Ji. Actually, I'm not sure why, but many people guess that there might be 2 possible reasons. Either Ji wants to protect himself so that the plane won't fail if he dies, and sending Chao also gives her a chance to save her best friend Shi. Or the last stage might be the place that only the dead can enter. As for why Chao did not need to be saved by the ritual, it's because she was killed by Ji, not the ghost. After the successful exorcism, Chao handed over the ring and invalid marriage certificate to Ji, providing him with a clue to find Qinglong Wang upon returning to the real world. Xin Huichen. After coming to know the truth and realizing that Wang had not abandoned her, letting go of anger, The families of both sides decided to hold a wedding ceremony for the deceased couple in the form of a ghost marriage.
赵新桥，
Xin
好久
Chaozhao
不见。
finally met her good friend Shi. The two had a lot to talk about, even in the afterlife. The rest of the people were liberated and no longer had to endlessly repeat the cycle of death. So, is the game The Bridge Curse really that scary? To be honest, I think it's okay. It is with decent voice acting, storyline, and atmospheric art. However, if you are expecting to have your pants scared off, you might be disappointed. Overall, I still recommend it. The game features plenty of characters, but they have unique personalities that make it easy to distinguish and remember each other's role. The gameplay is simple, with just basic directional control and run button. When a player dies, the game provides hints on how to progress and clear the level. The game creates a good atmosphere of horror, and the jump scares are appropriately placed. The game is full of local elements. The scenes and voice acting are very Taiwanese. Taiwanese players will have an extremely authentic experience, and I particularly enjoy the voice acting of Wen Yao, whose way of speaking really sounds like someone my friend would say.
靠！也太靠北了吧 ！shit！ 回去我就颠爆他，爽啦！
By the way, does the college student now dress like the game characters? Crop top with diamond shorts, jeans with high-top Converse, and hoodie with short skirt. This just look like my school life. Any college student can give me the answer? Now let's talk about some of the game's shortcomings, which I hope will be improved in any future sequels. Firstly, the plot could be better organized to make it easier to follow. Some require reference to online discussions or even the game's own setting notes to understand fully. The part you are chased by the ghost is a bit of letdown. With the limited routes and solution, you can only run on a fixed route, and even a slightly slower action will get you caught. It is not friendly to someone like me who has no sense of direction. Another thing is that there are many first-time kills. They are unlikely to be passed on the first try. You have to try repeatedly to pass, which not only makes you feel exhausted but also reduces the scare factor due to the repeated storyline. The section where the player has to find out the source of baby's crying is a bit harsh. The player must find the correct room among multiple doors and then identify the object that is causing the sound. I died so many times during this part, and I think it would be better if the timing of the ghost's appearances could be slowed down a bit. Sometimes the character's behavior doesn't make sense in relation to their surroundings. One particularly memorable example is when Tianming, who is clearly very afraid of ghosts, suddenly announced that he needs to go to the bathroom all by himself during a tense moment. Although it is understandable that he may have to go urgently, it is hard to believe that someone would choose to use a restroom in a dark and haunted school, which is one of the most common settings of horror stories. It seems like he probably only did it to advance the plot. Another issue is that the save point and the final stage are too far apart. The final stage is large and has multiple routes and tasks to complete. If you die and have to start over, it can be quite frustrating, especially for people with poor memory who may forget which door they opened. It would be better if there are more save points. Have you noticed the bracelet that G always wears? If it looks familiar, then you might not be surprised. Now, let's take a look at this scene. This is Wen Yao's desk, and on his computer, there is a photo of them holding hands. Look, that is G's bracelet. It is really hard to notice unless you have a keen observation. There are two theories about this secret. Some say that Wen Yao intentionally took that photo to fend off admirers, while others believe that Wen Yao really had a crush on G, So he used late as an excuse to leave behind a memory.